Okey-dokey. Great. So welcome everybody to our Ask the Doc call. This is a call that we have done every 2 weeks. I'm not sure, Dr. Mark, whether you recall whether this is our eighth or ninth Ask the Doc call. It's been a few, and we had a little bit of a break due to the Canadian holiday and then the American holiday and so on. So we're absolutely delighted and excited to have you back, Dr. Mark, and share some time with you. And I'm delighted that Angela Corns, our co-host, has been able to join us again today as co-host. Say hello, Angela.
Hey, Dr. Mark, it's great to see you.
Likewise, good to see you as well.
So we have Dr. Mark. For those of you who are new on this call, Dr. Mark DeBrincat, better known as the Good News Doctor, is our VoxLife VP of Clinical Strategies. And Dr. Mark has been with this company for quite some time, almost right near the beginning, and was like a lot of people, like I was, like a lot of you were, skeptical with regards to magic socks or technology that would make your brain better. And like all of us, he did his due diligence and he wore the product and then brain mapped himself and was absolutely astounded at what he was seeing on his quantitative electroencephalograph brain mapping equipment. And so from that point, obviously, he wanted to meet the inventor and has been part of the journey and part of the mission. And I might add a very integral and exciting and important part of this puzzle. And blessing for me, become a personal friend of mine, and I'm very blessed for that. So welcome, Dr. Mark. It's great to have you back here again on June 14th.
Can you believe the year's half over already? Oh my goodness, where has the time gone?
I know it's been crazy. It just keeps flying by, and I'm like, today or 4 more days from now, we're actually 5 years old as a company. Our 5th anniversary on June 18th. So I'm really excited about that. And there's an amazing promo going on right now with buy 3 get 2 free. There's prizes, there's trips, there's iPads, there's all kinds of great prizes for our anniversary, both for customers and for associates. So I'm very, very grateful that Jay has put this promotion together to help us all move the needle during this pandemic. And certainly some great stories and some great testimonials continue to pour in, and some exciting stuff coming up in the future as well. So again, Dr. Mark, we're grateful to have you here. And maybe what we can do to get started, Dr. Mark, is just briefly run down for the new people that are on here. And there's a number of new people on this call. Just do a brief synopsis of our technologies and what we have and what we do, if that makes sense to you.
Oh, happy to. Let me pull up something that will support that. Hold on a second. Sorry.
As you can see, folks, the nice thing is with Dr. Mark, we never rehearse this stuff. We just get at it. We love the challenge.
That's for sure. All right, I found it.
There it is.
All right. All right, so we all know about our infamous leader and how amazing Jay is and his whole story of really just a boy trying to help his mom experience a better quality of life. And what he has found has truly changed the lives of over 7 million people now, including his mother, which is so awesome. So we have 6 different technologies. To run through them real quick, we have our Harmony patch, which targets the brain stem. And we're going to talk about the eSmarter technology real quick that targets our cognitive centers of our brain and helps us be smarter. And then we're going to talk about our Neurovax patch. And this is the one that allows us to just have a better, stronger immune system better, stronger reflexes to that immune system and basically keep our immunity healthy, keep our nervous system and our body healthy. And then of course we have the REM patch, which is going to target our sleep centers of the brain. So running through those real quick, our Harmony patch, as we just mentioned, this is going on 5 years now that we've had this amazing technology, and we've been able to put it into multiple lines of clothing to make it really easy for everybody to keep this tech on them 24 hours a day, if at all possible, is where we're going to get the best results. So we've done over 7,000 brain maps with and without the tech on. We published this study that is available that basically came out and said that, hey, we're changing the overall brain by 36% on average. And so brainstem first, and past the brainstem, it's wherever your body needs the most healing. So when we look at images of a brain from a brain map, we're recording 19 images around the brain simultaneously, recording over 60,000 neural synapses every second, and we can triangulate all that information to know exactly how healthy is the brain and how well is it functioning. An ideal brain should appear gray. Even to be 2 deviations away from ideal, it's still gray. Then it's going to turn light blue when it's two deviations too slow, and then dark blue at 4. And the opposite side of that spectrum is yellows at +2 and red at +4. So ideally, we want the brain to be at homeostasis. Well, it's amazing that this technology, when you put it on, in 10 seconds, it changes the brain to almost perfect, okay, as far as homeostasis goes. And it's not just the ones that are too slow, it's the ones that are too fast too. We can calm those brains down. Then we look inside the brain and we can see the fibers and how we're sharing that information. And if it's blue, we have a delay in sharing information and in comprehending information. If it's red or yellow, it's like you're yelling at yourself. There's just too much information going on, and I'm missing information that way as well. So it really is remarkable that we see the fewer the lines. I guess I'm getting an echo. People can mute themselves. We good? Okay. So the fewer the lines
Should be good, Doc.
So the fewer the lines we see. Are you guys all hearing that echo?
Yes, we are.
So Terry, maybe just mute everybody and then unmute me. Okay. So the fewer the lines we see, the healthier and the better functioning the actual brain is. So we see this one that's super fast, calm down to that. So again, the less lines or the fewer the lines, the healthier the functioning. So this is remarkable. To see this kind of change in anything is really remarkable. A lot of times people need medication for an overexcited brain or underexcited brain. Let's call those anxiety and depression. To be able to change the brain map with medication doesn't happen. It would still look like the image on the left if you are on anxiety medication. Now you'd feel better, you'd present feeling better, but under the hood, you still have your foot on the brake and the gas at the same time. So we're offering a natural solution that brings the nervous system back to homeostasis and allows the body to follow. So the definition of neurofeedback is any input we give the body that causes a change in the brain. And so Vox Life is definitely neurofeedback. We see it happen instantly with all of our products. And we know that if we keep it on long enough, it's creating some permanent changes that we're so desperately needing. So with that, the definition of biofeedback is any information we give the body that causes a physiological change in the body instead of the brain. So body's biofeedback, neurofeedback is brain. These are doing both bio and neurofeedback on a consistent basis as long as you have the tech on. So let's shift gears into the cognitive one. This is something that's going to help us improve our focus, our attention, decision making. It's just mindfulness made easy. And this works basically, think of your intent in the car. You're going to get it, you can go further before I lose the signal. It's allowing the front and the back of your brain to be dialed in very sharply to be able to control your 10 cognitive networks that much better. And so that's important when I'm doing something that I need to put my cognition into. Just to put them on and sit there and watch TV, you probably wouldn't notice a difference. We've also published a study on this one for its cognition, and this one came in at even at a higher percentage, 41% change in the cognitive networks, not in the entire brain. This one's only going after the front and back of our brain. So we did studies on this with 2 maps, 30 minutes apart, and we see again overstimulation, calm right down. We see poor coherence where there's just a lot of delay in comprehending stuff, wake right up, amazingly sharp brain. We see an anxiety network. The more lines you see in here, the more anxiety you have. So clearly, we've been able to clear this network, and that's an arousal state that stays aroused and I can't turn it off. Or depression is a lower arousal state that stays too low and I can't wake it up. So here we see these networks come back online by illustrating fewer lines. Now, attention, this is ADD network. Now, the more lines you have, the more problems you have with focus and attention, especially when you see blue and red lines in the same image. That's both ends of the spectrum that causes a whole lot of confusion. Well, that's why this technology was designed in the first place, was for people that suffered from attention issues. Then we found out it did so much more in all the cognitive networks. Your executive function network, this is social skills. This is working memory, mental flexibility, self-control. So we spent a couple years traveling around the world, meeting with professional athletes and gamers and musicians and just a bunch of amazing people that do push their limits and know exactly how fast they go, how high they can jump, how long they can play for, all of these things. And when they put our tech on, it was unbelievable how they broke their own records. And these guys are already the world record holders for things. So it really was fun and exciting and remarkable to witness firsthand champions becoming even greater champions by just putting on that eSmarter sleeve. So next we talk about the immunity response to all of this. So an automatic nervous system communicate, and it has this loop between the brainstem, the vagus nerve, the thymus, and the spleen. And this is our immune interactions and neural reflexes in relationship to our blood. So talking about the blood, we're not talking about pathologies, just structure function. So the one on the left, we have bacteria that's attacked those cells. The one in the middle, we have free radicals that attack it. And the one on the right is when we get rouleaus where they all stick together because they're damaged in some way. And now they don't travel through the blood as well, and they don't deliver and do their function as well either. So we've seen some crazy changes with the Neurovax, and just the first day of wearing them, people with chronic problems with their function of their blood seem to open right up and they feel much better. And all of a sudden their own immunity can work stronger and more diligently at getting their body back on track. We see the same thing within 24 hours was the longest time that it took for people's blood to be healed and for the body to finally start functioning well with that blood. Now remember, Neurovax doesn't heal your blood. Neurovax is opening up the centers of your brain that communicate to your nervous system and the reflexes to the immune system. And so making those communications stronger, your own innate intelligence knows exactly what to do. Now, it's not just the blood. When we did the studies on this, we did blood draw, but we did it at baseline, an hour, 12 hours, and 24 hours. And just in the first 12 hours, for almost everybody, we've seen the exact same changes. Brain changes first, chemistry changes as follows. Remember, dark blue and red are the worst lines. We're seeing them get better to almost gone completely, within 12 hours. And so this is looking in relationship to the gut-brain connection, okay, and how well we have that. And then we talked about the other parts of the brain that do control the spleen and the immune system and all of that. And so again, the fewer the lines, the better functioning brain systems. So people that wear this patch, they're experiencing a better functioning neurology, okay, a better functioning immune interactions and stronger, faster reflexes when needed. So I used to think this was one of those immune system boosts that I would put on when I'm in an area where I might be compromised around a lot of people, i.e. on an airplane. We're all breathing the same air. So those types of areas. But after doing the study, even on myself, who never get sick and feel healthy, my blood didn't look that great without the tech on. And with the tech on, it sure cleaned up real quickly. So it immediately became an immune system regulator for me. And I've been wearing it for over a year now, every single day. So this is one that, especially in times of COVID and things of that nature, viruses and such, it is time to make sure our immunity is optimized at all costs. And so for just under $2 a day, it makes sense to have that patch at our disposal. The next one is sleep. We talk about the different stages of sleep. Light sleep being half of our night. Deep sleep is where the body heals itself, and that's super important for you to heal and repair all the tissue in your body. 75% of all your new tissue cells that lay down happen during that deep sleep. In one 24-hour period, the majority of it happens when you're sleeping. So this is 10 to 25% of your night. You should get between the deep sleep and the REM sleep at least 3 hours combined between the two. The deep is the body, the REM is the brain. And so if we're not getting deep and REM sleep, you don't just make up for it later. You're damaging your nervous system. So it's so important, especially if you're somebody that doesn't sleep well, to have access to something like this that can target your sleep centers in your brain and improve your quality of sleep the very first night you use it. So we've done several comparisons with this too, 30 minutes apart from each other. Here, green is normal, red's too excited, blue's too sad. So there's a lot going on the left within 30 minutes, almost all green, very easy to relax. So when we talk about coherence, how well our body can share information while I'm sleeping, deep sleep is important. When we see, again, a bunch of lines, that's going to interfere with my ability to stay in that deep sleep for any length of time that I need to do the repairing, especially when we see reds and yellows and blues in the same field. It's very disruptive. We don't like seeing that. Within 30 minutes, look at how much of that brain cleared up and is now able to communicate and function and go heal the body. And that's what it's supposed to do. Now, the REM sleep, this is the part that allows my brain to remodel itself and to prune all the bushes of the things that I don't need to remember from yesterday, but help me remember the things that I do. This is a very slow cognition in that REM. So they'll just be getting in it for seconds or minutes at a time, and nothing that's going to be able to sustain the healing of the brain when there's so much coherence that is bad. Now, we put that patch on within 30 minutes, the whole core of the whole middle, the brainstem and all that middle core of the brain just cleared up super nice. And so this person's going to be able to actually sleep 10 times better and actually wake up feeling refreshed. So the information flow, when your fast brain waves, like your beta waves, stay going when you're trying to sleep, this is ruminating about things, and just your brain stays active and you just keep thinking like, I got the picture, just please turn me off. I need to sleep, I'm exhausted, and you still can't sleep. This patch clears up all of that nonsense, fast brainwave thinking that you need to shut off when you're trying to sleep. You need slow brainwaves to sleep fast during the day. So this is another great tool of turning down the fast high stuff. Your default mode, this is the foreman that's in charge of healing the body while you're sleeping, and that is very disruptive to see that much blue and yellow. This person does not sleep well. They're listening to the clock tick. They're hearing the dog breathe. They're hearing any little movement in the house is they're aware of it. We put the tech on and all that blue just woke up nicely. And so their function improved considerably. We'd much rather have a little yellows than all the blues, okay? Blues are sometimes very hard to wake up. So on average, we're seeing an increase of REM sleep by 15 minutes, but an increase in deep sleep by an hour and 43 minutes. That's amazing. So really, it's not a matter of how much you're sleeping, it's how much of the important part of your sleep are you getting. If you can accomplish 3 hours of deep and REM sleep in 3 hours, good for you. Get up and start working again. Your body is repairing itself. But most people take 7 to 9 hours in order to get your 3 hours of deep and REM. Okay, so the faster and more efficient your nervous system works, you may be a 5 or a 6 hour person that's totally getting enough healing, and that would be fine and perfect for you. So with that, that's our REM patch. That's the top 4 technologies. We do have a meta patch to help you lose weight as well. That improves your metabolism. And then we also have these Boomy socks that are our elevated mind technology, which are truly amazing, and they're helping us focus more on the serotonin and dopamine, and it's actually changing moods in your brain, in your body, helping you feel better, giving you that little pep in your step to keep a smile on your face throughout the day. And so much of that is neurotransmitters in our brain. So those socks are amazing, and every pair that you buy, they're going to go plant a tree somewhere. So it's a way of giving back to the earth at the same time, becoming happier. So that's it. Those are our 6 technologies. We are an amazing neurotech company that has the ability to tap into your nervous system and experience a better quality of life. It does it in a very safe and natural way, simply tactile. So it's touching you and it's making you feel a certain way. Imagine walking down the street and your spouse grabs your hand and just gives it a gentle squeeze. Just that touch, immediately I feel the love, I feel the connection, and it makes such a difference. Just the simple touch as she passes by. And so don't be surprised the power of touch and the power of changing a single cell in your body and allowing your nervous system to be tapped into something that is so amazing. It becomes this actionable signal that becomes super important, VIP priority for your brainstem. As soon as it's passing by, it's like, wait, 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 grab that bit of data. That was not just information flowing down the river. That was precious information that we need to act on right now. And so it could be a positive thing or a negative thing. Like a bear walked into my lobby, that's an actionable signal. I better do something about it. But those actionable signals is what creates your nervous system to change now. Okay, take action. How come some people can hear this information today and be like, wow, that was fascinating, and then go right back on to their life and never think about it again? How come that could happen where another person sees it is like, praise the Lord, this is something I've been praying for a long time. I feel like I'm finally going to find the answer to my health crisis or my issue, and whatever it is, I know that this product is going to help me find that answer faster, because by clearing my nervous system, allowing it to function better, it's going to allow me to heal finally and look for that breakthrough and find that breakthrough that we're so desperately looking for. So this is an amazing product, and I'm so happy that a patient wasn't too afraid to open her mouth and share it with me and telling me that, I do all this brain stuff. I need these brain socks. And I kind of laughed at her like, brain socks? That's funny. And I'm embarrassed to say it took me 5 months before I really appreciated what they really were. So now it's our job just to give you enough information, enough data, enough tools to be able to share this effectively with people and have them immediately just be, you know, thankful and appreciative to experiencing, this better quality of life that they've been trying for quite some time, in doing so. So thanks for letting me share all of
Yeah,
that. And I guess we can go back to some questions.
that's awesome, Doc. It's amazing to see that the power of touch when you think of it. It's just incredible. And this being relatively new studies and new findings, according to the white paper, along with Dr. Robert Thatcher, and the continuous studies that you've been doing. It's just amazing to me that the power of touch is so incredible. And it's a reminder too that everything starts with the brain. Everything comes down to the brain. All our products that we use, whether it's the sleeve, whether it's the patch, it all triggers something through that pattern of touch in the brain. And so everything is determined by the brain, it makes so much sense when you consider that as the first thing in the womb that is conceived is that brainstem. It makes perfect sense that that's what we should take care of. That is something that we should certainly pay attention to as far as how we function on a day-to-day basis. And with our 6 technologies, one of the questions that we have from the field is, one of the questions always is, can we wear all these different technologies at the same time? Do we is are they Do they interfere with each other, or does the brain accept each one of them on its own premise and affect the body specifically for those different technologies?
So yeah, the answer is 100%. I mean, think of each one like one of your children. Do you love any child less than the other? No, I'm going to love them all equally. And then Gonna give as much attention to each of them as I can. So each one has a very specific targeted point of your brain that's gonna help that brain always function better. Well, what if it doesn't need to function better? It's gonna function better regardless of whether you can perceive the need for it or not. It's gonna allow it to return to homeostasis and maintain homeostasis, which is the ultimate place to be present in. And so for the first product, HPT, that's the most important one. If you're not going to do anything else, just do that one. That one's opening up the front door to your brain, and it's going to allow that leftover reserve that you get with that technology to go to the part of your brain that you need it most. So that could be the one and only product. If I was only going to have one, I would do that. Now, anytime I add a second product up to the sixth product, all of those are going to target a very specific part of the brain only and not spill over into anywhere else. So, just thinking logically, if brainstem opens up the front door, that's the janitor that opens up the school. You got a lot of different teachers that specialize in different subjects, and they're going to go right to those rooms. And if I give them an assistant in the room, it's going to allow them to teach a little bit easier, okay, and to be more efficiently getting through the material with all the kids. So every patch or sleeve or technology that I add on after the school's open, it's just going to help those departments work a whole lot better and get more out of the day. Is it necessary? No, they can survive by themselves. They've been doing it for years. But if I had a helper, man, I could get done easier. I could do more. We could learn more. There's just so much more we can do when we have more choices. So the extra technology gives your brain more choices, and it gives it more reserve in all of those areas. So you can even put the Boomy socks on and then put the insoles in your shoes for the HPT. And even though they're overlapping, they're both going to still work. It's just going to take a little bit longer for your brain to pick up the insole because it's further away than the technology that's on the surface, but it'll still decode it. It'll still find it. It'll still help everything work together simultaneously. So things like the eSmarter sleeve, is that necessary to wear 24/7? Not necessary, but it's certainly going to help those two parts of your brain 24/7 if it is on. But especially when you're doing things like I'm reading, I'm studying, I'm driving, I'm playing a sport, I'm playing music, I'm doing something that I want to be cognizant of. And I know that if I can stay focused and sharper, better, longer, I'm going to be able to get through this and have more fun with it. And so those are the times that I'm thinking that. The immunity, either you're like myself, that I realize the value in it and I wear it 24/7 and nobody's going to ever tell me anything different, or you're going to use that product for the times when you're going on a trip. I'm going into out to eat. There's a restaurant. There's going to be a bunch of people. I'm going to be in a sporting event where there's thousands of people. I'm going to be on an airplane. If you're going to be around crowds of people, hey, it's your neural protection. Just put it on. It's so simple and easy to use. If you struggle with sleep, I recommend you wear this patch every single night. This is something that's going to help you get through the night and maybe not wake up as many times, maybe not wake up at all. But it is certainly going to help you repair your body and get it better faster. So if you sleep great and wake up refreshed and have tons of energy all day, that might not be one that's real critical for you, okay? Is important as the HPT. That's important for every single person, no matter how healthy you are, no matter how good you feel. The other ones are there to help you if those are issues that you need. Obviously, if I don't need to lose weight, I don't need to worry about the Meta patch. You know, that's targeted for somebody that's trying to get in shape and get their metabolism regulated better. And it might not even be a weight loss thing. It might be that you just have a lot of digestive issues, and the Meta patch is going to help balance out the nerves that are regulating your metabolism. So it's not always just a weight loss thing, but it is definitely a good thing. And then the Boomy socks, those are ones that if people struggle with keeping a good attitude and staying happy and positive, you know, throughout the day, these are ones that will definitely consistently help you with that. So again, we have plenty of technologies. They're all wonderfully together. They're not going to compete with one another. If you're wearing the HPT and the leftover went right to my frontal cortex because that's where I needed it with my focus, And then all of a sudden I put the sleeve on. Well, guess what? The sleeve takes over in the front. And then the HPT says, okay, well, you don't need my guys there. I'm pulling them off that job. We got some temple work to do over here. And so it's going to send all the leftover to there. And it really is amazing. We've studied this so thoroughly over the years with all these brain mapping that it's fascinating on how fast the body wants to heal and can once it gives
Yeah,
the
that's,
opportunity.
I mean, I encourage people all the time to, wear, our different technologies at the same time and experiment with it for 30 days on a regular basis and just see. But we have three technologies. We have our socks, our insoles, and our HPT patch, which all elicit the same response in the brain. So now, me personally, Doc, and I know you do at times too, you wear the socks and insoles because when you kick your shoes off in your house, you've still got the socks on, so your brain is always in the homeostatic position. I'm just going to mute somebody here. Is always in the homeostasis position. But one of the questions we have, if we wear the socks, do we need the insoles? If we double up socks and insoles, do we need the HPT patch? Now, personally, I wear all three. I don't necessarily wear the HPT patch every single day because I have the insoles and the socks on. But there are times that I throw the patch on. And I know we've talked about before about the patch seems to work sometimes a little differently or a little faster on some people than the socks do. And you have talked about the neurological dysregulation that may be the distance between the feet and the brain compared to where the patch goes on the arm. Maybe we could just briefly talk a little bit about that, of those three technologies, just to make it clear for people.
So technically, you only have to have one sock on or one insole in one shoe to have 100% function of the technology. So you're not needing to double and triple up to try to get more function out of your tech. It's just like Terry was saying, it's like I have all my shoes pretty much have the insoles in them because it just makes sense, at least the ones that I wear most of the time. And I actually replaced all the socks in my sock drawer with Vox socks years ago. And because of that, I don't ever wear through any of my socks yet. It's been 4 years. I've thrown a couple away because they got grungy, because they were white and they got dirty. But when you have multiple pairs, they're high quality socks. They're going to last you a long time. And so for the most part, most of the time I'm wearing my socks because I have shoes on. But in summertime around the house and stuff, when I'm not wearing socks and I don't have shoes on, that's kind of why I have the patch. And I like the patch at night because I don't like wearing anything on my feet at night. It just really bothers me. So again, I'm prepared for success. I don't double and triple up because I think I'm getting more out of it. I'm just making sure that I am always covered, because as soon as I get home, the shoes are off, and then I have my socks on throughout the night until I go to bed, and I'll replace my socks with a patch. And that's just my protocol. Now, the other thing we want to say is, we've done lots of brain mapping and testing where we did just the socks, just the insole, just the patch, and then patch and socks, and then patch, socks, and insoles, and did different combinations. And when we laid all the gauges of the map reports and all the data over one another, they all overlapped 100% exact. So it made no difference if I added 2 or 3 of the technologies on. It didn't change anything from the first technology that entered the body or that touched the body, until we did that with several people, to where it was like, okay, they're all the same. Not one's more effective than the other. Some people thought maybe the insoles would be the most effective because it's a deeper groove that my nervous system is picking up, the valleys and the peaks versus the cross stitch pattern, in the sock. But that wasn't the case until I started mapping people with neuropathy, with shoulder replacement surgeries, atrophy. And so if you have an injured shoulder and you're using the patch or the sleeve on that right arm and the right shoulder is injured, it's only going to be so much effective. In the example that we had, it was 32% change, what I thought was right around with it. And then, I'm like, you know what, let's just look at the other arms. You do have a bad shoulder here. Went to the other arm and it was 64% change. So it was double. So it definitely could compromise the intensity and the amount of signal that gets through if you have injured feet, bad neuropathy in your feet. I'd probably be going with the deeper insoles because that'll pick up the ridges thicker if you have bad neuropathy, or the patch on your arm or somewhere closer to your spine, and that'll help get the most out of the tech.
Great. And do you think you have a question there?
I do. So Dr. Mark, kind of relating to wearing all of the technologies together, is it possible or does it work if you wear one HPT sock and one Boomy sock?
Yeah, you can absolutely do that. They're not going to feel the same because they're different, a little bit different sizes and softer material. But absolutely, I've done that. That was the first day. I was like, let me just take one of each. But
Perfect.
what might be better is just to do the Boomy socks and then put a patch on or have insoles in your shoes. That
Okay.
way you'll be it'll feel symmetrical at least. But technology-wise, you're right on. You can just put one of each.
Okay, perfect.
Right.
Is there another question?
Yeah, there's one that came in the feed here. Hi, Dr. Mark. Thank you. I have a question, please. I have used HPT for a neurological condition which causes me not to be able to walk. Since HPT, my walking is much better. Just had a total knee replacement, and my mobility in my non-operated knee has deteriorated significantly. Is this because HPT works on worst area and mine currently is my knee?
Well, there's 30% crossover in any type of injury from one limb to the other. So just having the knee replacement in the one side is definitely going to affect your other knee as well. In fact, it's important to be rehabbing the good knee that wasn't operated on, just so you get 30% of that muscle strength carry over back into the good knee, or into the bad knee that you just had operated on. So I know that the total knee is quite the recovery. A couple months of deep toothache pain and all of that in there. The HPT should be helping with the discomfort level, and as far as your healing process, I would definitely have that Neurovax on. Hopefully you've had it on since the day you had that knee replacement, because that's all circulation and that's helping get that fully recovered. There could be a lot of reasons why the other knee is having issues, favoring that leg. In the meantime, it could be a structure function of the ankle in and of itself. And if that's not clear, you're going to be putting awkward stress into the knee. So again, there's a lot of factors to really give you the answer you're looking for, but just know that it is actually giving your body a 30-40% better neurology to do the healing that needs to take place and that is taking place. My best friend just had his knee replaced as well, and he's been going through that. And he's done amazing with the technology on, from before to right after he got out of surgery.
Perfect. Great, thank you.
So Dr. Mark, I have another one. Yeah, I have another one that got emailed in. It's a little, I don't want to say lengthy, but there's a lot of parts to it. So the scenario is this person has had a stroke, does have a stent, is on the baby aspirin and warfarin, and wants to know if using the Neurovax is going to interfere or replace the baby aspirin, possibly. Doesn't really say anything about replacing the warfarin. They know that's not the answer there, but looking to know, since the Neurovax does help with the stickiness and possibly clotting, what should this person watch out for if using the Neurovax?
So there isn't going to be any complications or contraindications for using the Neurovax with any of their medications or any procedures or any of that. So But of course, it's not going to be replacing any of our medications either. Okay, and so definitely it's not anybody's scope of practice to tell them to stop taking aspirin or to stop taking medications, except the physician that has them on those medications. So with that, because of the nature of her conditions with the cardiovascular system, it would make sense to always keep that Neurovax on. And of course, HPT2, because it's opening up the brainstem to let the Neurovax get in there quicker and more robustly, to constantly keep the blood at as much homeostasis as possible. We have had patients that were able to titrate off of medications with their doctor, but those are really specific cases. I mean, it's the #1 killer in the United States, at least, the heart disease, that is. And so it's seriously a complicated problem. And we don't want to be, practicing medicine by any means, but know that, ask yourself the question, if my condition that I'm talking about, and I see there's somebody else in here talking about neuropathy and other conditions in their questions. So if you got a very specific question that you're asking, our technology is not designed to target a condition, okay? And we're not going to tell you that it does, because that would be practicing medicine. Now, even though I'm a doctor and I can practice medicine, I'm never going to say that, because the technology doesn't do that. So you ask yourself the question, is my condition or my symptom relating to blood flow and possibly microcirculation? If it is, then you're thinking Neurovax, because that's the one that helps bring the blood back to homeostasis. If you're thinking that your condition is more neurological in nature, and my nerves aren't functioning right, so it's causing my nervous system to have these weird issues, then you're always thinking HPT, okay? Think nervous system first. Outside of that, don't let yourself get caught into conditions. Will this help my neuropathy? Will this help my diabetes? Will this help my blood pressure? Okay. Only thing that inevitably is going to help that and have it last is you, your own innate, your own immunity, your own body's physically ability to heal and maintain and regulate homeostasis, period. If we're trying to get to homeostasis as quick as possible, well, man, we can help you. We have a lot of amazing tools that can do that real fast. And it's super safe because there's no side effects and there's no chemicals. So is that something you're willing to try? Let's keep it at function. We help the nervous system function better, whether it's the Harmony patch or whether it's any one of our products. It's targeting your nervous system. Nervous system trumps all other systems. And so as we get the nervous system to communicate and to function better and to get signals in places it's not been getting, it's amazing that you see the body turn around and heal, and you can see what changes happen fast.
Perfect. Doc, you talk about contraindications. And we talk a little bit about what that means with our technology, and possibly why we don't have any contraindications with our technologies.
So a contraindication is any condition that you have that would prevent you from using this technology. Any symptoms that you might having that they would say, if you are having these symptoms, like pregnancy could be a symptom, or a condition, if you have, say, diabetes or another condition that is a medical condition that you've been diagnosed with, okay? There is no reason why you cannot use this product for any medical condition that we've known of for all the years that we've been with this product. And so if you don't like the effect in feeling more, then just take it off and it's going to immediately be gone. It really is just that easy. It's not a nutrient or a medication that you have to take. And then if you don't like the effect, I have to wait till my body metabolizes it and eliminates it and gets rid of it. And that could take hours, okay? So this isn't anything that's going to put yourself at any risk of making something bad happen. Now, why is that? Doesn't everything have a potential risk initially? Well, to some degree. The risk that you would have would be maybe the reaction to the adhesive on the sticker. Your skin might not like it, and you might have a rash or something like that. But the only way something is going to give a contraindication is by you doing that product. It's going to force your body to do something. Okay. So I take a medication that forces my body to thin the blood. Well, if I'm bleeding, that's probably not a good thing. And that would be a contraindication because I need to thicken it if I'm bleeding. It means I'm wounded. Okay. And so that would be a contraindication. If I have a certain condition where I wound easily, I might not want to thin that blood. Okay. And there could be a contraindication for every medication because there are certain conditions that when you put a medication, you're forcing a reaction. Your body's got to deal with that medication. Now, that reaction and dealing with it could be it could be something that's non-desirable. It's like, I don't like what that medication is doing to me. It's having some kind of weird side effect. And so, we don't even have to worry about an organ transplant, with our immune patch. That's something that somebody would say, well, they put them on immune suppressive drugs so their immune system doesn't recognize this new organ and reject it. And so why would I put the Neurovax patch on if it's going to increase my immunity? No, it doesn't force your immunity to be increased. It increases the information and communication between your brain and your central nervous system and your organ, which apparently is the most important part after a replacement of an organ, is to get the neural component connected first so that you don't reject it. And so the exact opposite for our Neurovax patch, we're not creating something that's going to build more white blood cells to get out there and build an army to go fight something that might be causing harm to me. No, I am 100% plugging in all of the cables so that the stereo can talk to all the speakers. And I want that stereo in my brain to talk to my immunity stuff to let it know that here's a new organ and I need neural connection right away before we lose this tissue. And then so it's going to actually improve that process, increase that speed in which your body can reconnect its own awareness to this new organ. And then it's going to help save the tissue. And so again, we're not forcing anything. We're freeing the body's immune system and the innate intelligence to do what it needs to do. If it needs to thicken the blood, it's going to thicken the blood. If it needs to thin it, it's going to thin it. It's going to do either. It's an adaptogen. It's not going to just force it in one way that could cause a problem. And even certain nutrients force the process of metabolizing the nutrient. And sometimes that could be contraindication with the medication. And so we're not giving chemicals, we're not giving nutrients. We're just simply touching the nervous system in a way that makes it work right? So you can sit outside your door all you want, and if it's a digital keypad and my door's locked, I can just keep sitting there all day hitting buttons and getting exhausted, or somebody can give me the actual code and I can access it. I'm better off if I can access the building before I get too frustrated hitting keypads all day. And so all of our technology does, it gives you the janitor key to all the locks in the whole building. It gives you the pass to swipe every single digital lock and just get you access into everywhere. And so why wouldn't we have access to our own building? We're the owners of the building. I should have access to all of it. And too often we've had damage or something happened to one part of our building and we just ignore it and departmentalize it and forget that part exists and accept the fact that it's damaged, it's never going to work right. That's just my badge that I hold on to. No, it's silly. It's not. Your body knows how to repair and replace anything. Just give it the opportunity, give it the information, the freedom to do it. And it's amazing on how the body heals. And so many of you people already have your own story. You've already used this product. You've already had it change your life. So I'm preaching to the choir for most of you, but for those new people on the line, I don't care if you're skeptical or not, just put it on, it'll still work. Okay. And so it's just all it takes. You just have a leap of faith, put your foot inside this solid tunnel of cotton that is a little dark and unfamiliar, but I promise you, if you get your foot all the way to the bottom, you're going to see some amazing things happen in your neurology. And you're going to be really appreciative and be like, why was I so scared? It was just a sock. People make bigger deal out of wanting information about it, but they'll try anything else and just take a pill that a doctor gives them without even researching side effects. It's like, wake up, people. Take care of yourself first and know how to help yourself and how to give your body what it needs to thrive. Sorry, I'll jump up my
I
pants
love
too.
that name, that new name for sock, a tunnel of cotton. I love it. We have technology in socks. It's a tunnel of cotton. I love that. Well, as usual, Angela, that's all the questions that I have. I don't know whether you have any more.
I just had someone asking about, lady does not sleep well, tried the REM patch one night, was up all night long. What can they do to help her heal without many more sleepless nights? I believe she has another condition on top of that. I lost the post, but can you explain a little bit the rebalancing that happens when you first start wearing the technology?
So I would have other questions for that person, like, did they have the HPT on as well too?
I don't think so.
And
It didn't sound like
So
that.
what other factors were at play that night? To use it one night and say it worked or didn't work, when you already have a problem sleeping, um, your body's trying to figure it out. And so don't eat 4 hours before you go to bed. Make sure the room is pitch black. Make sure there's no noise in the room. Make sure if you have any light, it's red light and nothing else. Make sure your room is cold. Okay, your body will stay more comfortable if you're cold, and you have your blankets. And so there's a lot of factors in relationship to sleep that you
I,
can certainly address. And then as far as the REM patch goes, if you've had sleep issues for a long time, there's been a lot of dysregulation in those areas that are regulating those parts of your sleep. And so the REM patch can't heal it, in one try. It's just opening it up to get it to communicate a little bit better. And so again, it may take a few times wearing it and utilizing it before you're going to get the most out of it. Again, I'd have like a dozen questions for you
here's
before
here's
help
more of
you
the
understand.
story. Yeah, here's more of the
Okay.
story. Single mom of 2 small children, on a feeding tube for the last 2 years for a rare digestive disorder. Um, she does not get good restorative sleep. She's in continual digestive symptom pain and is usually tired. She tried the REM patch for one night and was wired and awake the entire night. What would you suggest to help her body achieve homeostasis with minimum amount of sleepless nights? Thank you.
So that's excellent. That's definitely more information. Um, HPT again first, even before the REM patch. Feeding tube, a lot of neural connections from the brain to the gut, vagus nerve issues. The Neurovax patch, probably the most important one after the HPT, just for that reflex and that neural connection to her gut. She's trying to heal. I would continue to try the REM patch, and in an hour, if she's seeming wired, just take it off. It'll wear off. It doesn't have residual long-term effects. So don't leave it on all night if she's not sleeping and she's wired. Um, it could be that, all these new connections and new healing is going on. And so that's waking her up. There's obviously with a critical child like that, there's a lot of neurological dysregulation. There's a lot of components that are trying to be rewired, trying to send synapses, trying to communicate, trying to heal and regulate. You're going to have ups and downs, but the longer you can keep pretty much all the technology on her, those three at least, the HPT and Neurovax 24/7 with her is no question. And then the REM patch just at night, only if it's helping her, and start out with it every night for a little while. And after an hour, if she's not sleeping, take it off. And I think that that will eventually work its way out. I think if she's having a lot more things that she's excited to have help her, little helpers in the nervous system doing stuff, that the sleep wasn't her primary problem that night. It was something else with digestion, with her gut, with the feeding tube, with whatever. There was something else that she was just really excited to heal, and that's what was going on. So don't be discouraged. Just be consistent, at least with the HPT. That's going to give you the most benefit, and then the Neurovax is second most benefit for her. Hope that helps.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that insight. That was a a pretty technical question. So I think that will help this person greatly.
Excellent.
That's great. Well, we're at almost at the hour. I know that a lot of times when presenting and getting asked some of these questions, we wish we all had the wisdom of Dr. Mark at times when we're dealing with our customers. But let me tell you, folks, when you get on these calls, every time you get on these calls with Dr. Mark, we all take away a little bit of information that will help us in our presentations, in our explanation of our technologies. We're here to learn, and we want to do it the right way. We want to be able to explain our technologies the right way. And I can't say enough how grateful we are for Dr. Mark and his time, and for the fact that these calls are recorded so that you can go back and re-listen if you didn't get it. But I encourage you to share these calls with your teammates who couldn't get on because they all have questions for sure. And we're so grateful to Dr. Mark to come on here. And you got to remember, guys, Dr. Mark takes these questions cold turkey. These aren't sent to him prior to or whatever. And so the reason we do this is we want the answers to be real. We want the answers to be from the heart. And that's the way we all have to be in the field. But it's important that we answer the questions the right way. And as Dr. Mark said, we cannot claim to treat, cure anything with our technologies. So again, Dr. Mark and Angela, thank you. It was so great to have you on the call again. And I know that you've had a real busy winter and fall and had some things that took you away from being able to do the call at this time, but we're grateful to have you back over the summer month. And Dr. Mark, as always, just a pleasure to have you here. Glad to see you're doing well and your family's doing well. And we'll look forward to seeing everybody in 2 weeks, God willing, on the 28th. So I'll remind everybody to get your questions in to Angela at brainforbalance.com or myself at tsaintammon1 at gmail.com for questions coming up into the next 2 weeks on the 28th of June. So again, reach out. Let's get our customers set up on this amazing promotion that's going on for our anniversary on the 18th of June, and let's all take advantage as associates of getting our product purchased so that we can get entered into these amazing trips and prizes that we have been generously offered from corporate. So once again, everybody, thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Mark, and we'll look forward to seeing everybody again in 2 weeks on the Ask the Doc call. Take care, everybody. Cheers.
Bye.